Mary Klein, has survived things in the last several hours that should not be survivable.
Okay. What did you find?
She fought a monster. She climbed a wall in complete darkness with bleeding hands.
I've been there every night since I found the place, and I still barely scratched the surface.
She watched her patient die right in front of her. And now, she is standing at the only exit she has found.
Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up!
She grabs the handle. She pulls. The door does not open. Mary looks around the room. The layout is familiar, but the furniture is all wrong. And the exit is sealed shut. The impossible place has claimed her. Before I tell you how this ends, let me take you back to where it all began. It begins in 1990. A researcher named Naren Warren is mapping a newly opened dimension for a company called Async. He takes a wrong turn. The walls stretch out infinitely. Suddenly, a sound behind him. A rapid, metallic, screeching. Naren runs. But in this place, there are no corners to hide behind. He vanishes. Decades later, Async retrieves his camera, and what they see on that tape changes everything. Mary Klein is a successful therapist. She has a calm voice, a popular podcast, and an office full of patients who trust her. But Mary carries a secret. As a child, she was kept locked inside a room by an unstable mother who feared the outside world. The only piece of her childhood she kept is a heavy concrete block containing her childhood handprint, a literal piece of her past that she keeps locked in her bag. She spent her life helping others escape their mental prisons until she met Clark. Clark is the bankrupt owner of a failing, pirate-themed furniture outlet called Kappa & Clark's Ottoman Empire. He is so desperate, he wears a cheap plastic pirate costume just to shoot terrible local TV ads. He sleeps on his own showroom floor because his wife threw him out. Clark blames the world for his failures. Mary pushes him to look in the mirror, but neither of them is ready for what is about to push back. One night, the lights in Clark's store begin to flicker. An electrician arrives to investigate. Inside the fuse box, two switches that should not exist, installed sideways, off to the side, not part of the original wiring. No one can explain what they do. Clark flips every switch in the building. Total darkness. Then, on one wall, a thin line of light appears, a glowing rift, a crack in the building that opens onto something that is not the building. Clark reaches out, touches it. The wall pulls him through. On the other side, endless corridors, yellowish walls, carpet that smells of a place sealed for decades, rooms packed with furniture, stacked to the ceiling, stretching out in every direction with no visible end. Clark finds his way back out. But what Clark doesn't know yet is that the moment he touched that wall, the building stopped being a furniture store and started being something else entirely. Clark goes back in. He draws maps. He marks exits. He keeps moving deeper. He finds a stop sign next to a door left slightly ajar, a dead bird on the floor, a cardboard cutout of a human figure wired to a radio, playing voices in multiple languages all at once, a tunnel that drops into an impossible depth. Clark brings Kat and Bobby, his camera crew, back with him the next day. They tie themselves together with rope. They go in prepared. Bobby descends into the vertical tunnel to film what is below. Old clothes, deteriorated objects, crushed furniture, pulverized into debris. And then something pulls him down first. Clark and Kat grip the rope. They pull with everything they have, but the force below is stronger. It yanks Bobby downward, dragging Clark and Kat right over the edge. They crash to the bottom. In the chaos and the dark, they see something that cannot be real. It is a towering, horrifyingly distorted giant, and it is wearing a shredded, rotting replica of Clark's cheap pirate mascot costume. This is Captain Clark, a physical manifestation of Clark's deepest self-loathing. It drags Bobby's screaming body into the dark. Kat runs after Bobby. Clark runs after Kat, and within minutes, Clark is completely alone. Every hallway identical to the last, every door opening onto another room, every room leading to another hallway. At some point, Clark stops running. Weeks pass. The furniture store sits locked and covered in official notices. And then Clark calls Mary. His voice is altered, lower, quieter than it has ever been. He tells her that he has finally found what he was looking for. He tells her he has no intention of coming back. Mary goes to the store immediately, but that wasn't even the most difficult part. Mary finds Clark's notes in the basement, the hand-drawn maps, the expanding labyrinth that spreads across page after page, and the glowing rift exactly where Clark described it. She steps through. On the other side, the furniture is gone. Empty, echoing corridors, space that does not match the dimensions of the building above. Mary moves forward, calling out for Clark. Then, Clark's voice. Behind her, he tells her she is making too much noise. He is calm, smiling, completely at peace. He steps behind her and suffocates her until she falls unconscious. When Mary wakes up, Clark is serving dinner. Around the table, motionless, frozen figures. A man in a striped shirt, a person in a wheelchair, a woman standing completely still near the wall. Clark reveals the horrifying truth. These yellow halls are built from broken memories and forgotten lives. The silent, motionless figures around the table are hollow people. What becomes of humans who stay here too long? To prove it, Clark grabs a knife. He drives it deep into a mannequin's chest. No blood pours out. Instead, Clark reaches into the wound, pulls out a piece of dry, white bread-like flesh, and eats it. This world doesn't build real things. It builds cheap, edible replicas. Then, Clark's mind snaps. He grabs one of the hollow women, drapes a wig over her head. He forces Mary to watch as he begins a frantic, terrifying roleplay. He screams at the mannequin, pretending she is his ex-wife, Barbara. He relives their worst arguments. The drinking, the screaming, the shattered glass. Mary stays calm. She uses her therapy training as a weapon. She interrupts him. She tells Clark the brutal truth. Barbara didn't leave because of his drinking. She left because he never took responsibility for his own life. The words hit Clark like a physical blow. He falls silent. He realizes she is right. Slowly, he reaches down to untie Mary's ropes. And that is when the hollow people suddenly turn their heads toward the corridor. Heavy, dragging footsteps echo outside. The towering Captain Clark monster looms in the doorway. Clark turns toward it. He introduces Mary calmly. He assures the monster that she is just his therapist and is about to leave. His voice is completely steady. His eyes are not afraid. The creature lifts him off the floor and bites him. Clark bleeds out in seconds. Mary runs. She bursts into a room that looks like a warped, glitched replica of Captain Clark's furniture store. Behind her, the towering Captain Clark monster corners her. Its giant wooden peg leg thuds heavily against the carpet. Mary reaches into her bag. She isn't holding a stone. She is holding the heavy concrete block containing her childhood handprint, the literal weight of her past. Mary swings. She smashes the heavy block directly into the monster's wooden peg leg. It snaps. The giant pirate monster crashes to the floor, and Mary unleashes her fury, bashing its distorted face. But their brutal struggle triggers an async security gas trap built into the ceiling. Green gas floods the room. Mary's vision fades as both she and the monster collapse into unconsciousness. When Mary opens her eyes, she is inside a secure medical facility. She has been rescued by async hazmat teams. Through a lab window, she catches a glimpse of the creature's dead body on an autopsy table. Then, a man named Phil appears. He is not a survivor. He is a cold, clinical interrogator for Async. He tells her that Async once built machines to study resonance. They accidentally opened the door to the Backrooms. Since then, everything they do is dedicated to understanding it, and whether they let Mary go back to her life is not his decision to make. He warns her that the access doors are multiplying. New rifts are appearing in cities all over the world. Nobody knows why the Backrooms preserve what people leave behind. Objects, photographs, fragments of memory, and, in certain cases, the people themselves. Not the living ones, the hollow ones. Remnants built from what was felt and never processed. Somewhere inside the Backrooms, there is a Mary Klein, Look closely at the final frame of the movie. It is a deformed, glitched replica of Mary, sitting silently inside a fake, half-rendered copy of the async interrogation room itself. This story is ultimately about what happens to the parts of us we never face. Clark walled off his loneliness, and the Backrooms kept him. Mary almost did the same. The version of her that lingers in those corridors, the hollow one, is the cost of everything she carried and could not yet put down. The exit was never the door. The exit was always the truth. If this one got under your skin, subscribe. We tell stories like this every single day. Tell me in the comments, if you had crossed through that wall even once, would you have had the strength to leave?